Good afternoon from BMW and Porsche of Ocala. I'm Scotty, one of the BMW product geniuses over here, and today we're going to be taking an extended look at this 2018 BMW 740i sedan. Now, in the United States, we only have the long wheelbase chassis, so this would in Europe or in other countries would be referred to as a 740Li sedan. But this is, in fact, a long wheelbase version, even though it's just designated as 740i. But this one is going to be powered by an inline 6-cylinder turbo engine that generates about 320 horsepower and about 332 foot-pounds of torque. And this being the rear-wheel drive model is going to be rocketing to 0 to 60 in about 5.4 seconds. So it's an incredibly fast little car of its size, especially. Very well-balanced engine as well. Very nice and smooth because of it being an inline 6 as opposed to a V6. Now this one's going to be finished in an M Sport package, which you can see by the much more aggressive front end compared to a normal 7 Series. We can see the kind of dark chrome accenting right over here, almost like a ceramic tint to it, very sharp. And of course, for 2018 7 Series will feature standard LED headlights, which you can see with the nice Corona rings right over here. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, the 7 Series is loaded with all this new technology. Even in this video, even though it's an extended one, we won't be able to touch on nearly all of it. But some of the features we're going to see are going to be the active kidney grills. As we can see, these little flaps are actually open right now. But if you're traveling on the highway, the car doesn't really need much more airflow. These will actually close up to give the car a better drag coefficient and lower wind noise. So it's very sharp. Everything on this car is zone functional. We can, of course, start seeing like front air dams that redirect the air around the wheel wells right over there. You can see where you can see air on the other side, a little bit of light. Very nice. Absolutely gorgeous car. Now this one in particular is going to be finished in a black sapphire. So it's a very nice deep black with little blue specks in the paint, which as we start coming along the side, you'll probably start seeing a little more of that blue. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a close-up on some of the areas. And you can see some of those specks in there, really sharp. And this one being an M Sport package, this one does have the optional 20-inch M Sport rims as well, which really bring just a beautiful quality about the car. Really changes the turn response on the car as well. Very dramatic in its handling shades between the 19s and 20s. And of course, once again, some more things we'll find in the M Sport package. We do see this black little air breather right over here, which actually takes the air out of the wheel well, redirects it along the side of the car. Kind of helps with wind noise and eliminate air pressure in the wheel wells. Very sharp there. And we're just going to do a little walk around. Of course, LED tail lights in the rear. Now, a distinction you can tell between some 2016s versus 2018s and 17s is 18s actually have this little area in the back right over here blacked out as opposed to a chrome. So really, this is just a full blackout on the car. It looks really sharp. And this one in particular also has the blacked out kidney grills in the front, if you noticed that earlier on in the video. Really brings the whole car together. Now this one's going to feature some very nice and very good options. Not overloaded at all. It has just the right equipment on it. This one's going to feature the driver assistance package, so it's going to have the blind spot detection, the lane departure warning, the crash mitigation system for pedestrian, as well as a mitigation system for higher speeds above 35 miles an hour as well, so really sharp there. And we'll take a look at those in just a moment. This one's also going to feature the executive package, which we're going to come to over here and take a look at the sticker. And you can pause the video at any time if you want to get a little more in-depth look at it. We can see the driver assistance package is going to include the heads-up display, the active blind spot detection, daytime pedestrian protection, frontal collision warning with city mitigation, lane departure warning. So if you start drifting from the lane, it'll actually vibrate the steering wheel, let you know, hey, you're kind of drifting, get back in there. And then, of course, speed limit information. The executive package, there's a really nice one. And right now, I don't know if you can see this, but we do have the rear shades up in the car. And you can see how the whole atmosphere changes from inside the car in the back seats versus how much brighter it is in the front seats. If you have all these shades up, it is a whole different environment. Really dark back here. Really good if you're just trying to have a little bit of privacy or you're just trying to take a nap. Very useful. And of course, those rear shades are going to be including the executive package. Now, front ventilated seats. We are in Florida over here. That's pretty much an essential at this point. Very useful there. The multi-contour seats. Now, what that's going to give you is actually going to give you 20-way multi-contour seats. So you can adjust everything from the front thigh support right over here to the front and back position of the seats. Of course, height, tilt, everything you expect to find there. Pitch of your back is here. And then you can even adjust the pitch of your upper back if you want your headrest more forward or anything like that. The headrest itself is electronically... Oh, I'll lose control of the iPad there. Headrest itself is also electronically controlled. You have bolster support, which hugs in from the sides of the seats right over here. And you have your 4 ways of lumbar support right over here as well. So you really have full control over everything on the seats. And of course, with these seats, this one being in Napa leather, which is a much softer leather compared to Dakota. Very smooth, very nice and comfy. This one's also going to feature the ventilated seats, which you can see right over here, and I do have those on because it is a hot one out today. Very nice feature to have right there. Coming down the line, we are going to see some of the other options, which is going to be the ceramic controls, which really, to me, match the whole car together. As we saw in the front bumper, right around the intake area right over here, this is kind of like a black chrome, almost like what used to be called like a shadow chrome. That's also going to be matched by a lot of the accessories on the inside of the car, which we're going to take a look at. So we can see on the iDrive controller, which is this little knob right over here, that's just also finished in that styling. So it really just brings the whole car together. Really just matches it up nicely. We already mentioned some of the things with the M Sport package. We already saw the 20-inch light alloy wheels, but we didn't mention the M Sport steering wheel, which is going to be finished in a much softer leather as well. Very sharp looking there. The Sport automatic transmission, which gives you the option for launch control. Even in a 7 Series, these cars do have launch control. It is a BMW after all. The fine line blackwood trim. You can see it's very gorgeous right there. It's a blackwood trim with almost like little glitter lines going through it. Very sharp. Really good looking. Ambient lighting, which we'll take a look at in just a bit over here. The LED fog lights. The aerodynamic hitch, which we mentioned were the change to the front and rear bumpers. The Shadowline exterior trim, which is going to be the black outline along the window trim right over here. As opposed to a standard 7 Series or one with the luxury package, that's going to be finished in a brushed aluminum. And of course we have the anthracite headliner, which is going to be kind of like a black charcoal headliner. Nice and easy. Of course, we have the panoramic sky lounge LED roof, which we're going to see if we can take a look at. It's a little bright today. I'm going to see if I can pull us under the service bay while we're doing this video and take a look at that as well. Really cool to see. And, of course, Apple CarPlay compatibility. Very useful for those iPhone users there. We already mentioned the black kidney grills, and then, of course, the M Performance rear trim was that little black thing that we saw in the back. The little black trim going through the taillights that was not available on 2016s or 17s, only on 18s. Really sharp. Pretty cool there. Just really matches the whole blackout theme of this car. But let's go ahead and head inside, because this is where all the goodies are at right here. Really sharp technology. I do have my seat scooted a little bit back here, and we'll take a look at back seat space and everything like that in this a bit, which this car is class leading in many of the segments in the rear seat. So really sharp there. Of course, automatic headlights, automatic windshield wipers, as you'd expect in a BMW in general. But of course, we come over here, we have the window controls for everything. This one would control all the rear shades. And we can see, I'm going to aim this little guy back here so we can see how the environment changes back there when I lower those shades. And then if I open up the sunroof, or the moonroof as BMW refers it to, changes the whole environment, much brighter back there as opposed to what it was before. And of course we can close that right back up. There we are. Really sharp. Very useful if you have little ones that are trying to get them to have a nice little nap while you're heading on a road trip. But of course, we come over here to the left side of the steering wheel. We have all your cruise control functionality right over there. And on the right side are going to be a lot of your media controls, modes for switching between radio frequencies and everything like that. Really useful stuff there. But the one that I always love, and oh my goodness, I don't even use the iDrive control anymore, are the voice commands. The voice commands in this car are second to none. They are absolutely wonderful. If I wanted to find me the nearest German restaurant, something like that, I'm just going to go ahead and press it and ask it. Find me the nearest German restaurant.
Orange Blossom Hills Country Club Restaurant, 1542 Watertown Circle, Baby Lane.
And what I just did there, I actually did a gesture command. So I actually just selected what I wanted to do just by pointing at the screen, and I swiped away the menu option just by swiping it to the right. This car does come standard with gesture controls as opposed to being an extra option of some of the other cars. Really useful feature. I could turn up radio volume just like this. Turn it back down like so. Really sharp, really cool to use. But you can see, just with those voice commands, I was able to go right to the country club that serves German food. And of course, I'm just going to stop the guidance because we don't want that bugging us here. Stop guidance. It's an incredible system. It can be used to control pretty much anything on the car. If you want to tune to FM 95.5, you can just say, listen to 95.5. If you want to listen to satellite radio, channel 26, or classic vinyl, you can say it however you want, and the car will pick it up. It's an intelligent voice command system that gets better the more you use it, so it's really sharp. And, of course, we can answer and hang up phone calls right over here. Very easy as well. But if you're not a fan of voice commands or even using the iDrive controller, The new 7 Series, this being the on the G chassis, does feature touchscreen as well. So depending on what you want to do, you can just touchscreen pretty much anything you ever want to do. And this one's going to be running on, since it's a 2018, iDrive 6.0, which is the latest iDrive system on this car. So it's the latest and greatest technology that BMW has to offer. Truly amazing, really easy to use. And that's what the Geniuses are actually primarily here for, is to teach customers that do purchase these cars how to use the system. And of course, we're always here to help you guys out whenever you need to. But let's go ahead and come through some of the other functions of the car. Coming down, we have the AC controls with a lot of the touchscreen right over here. So that really just adds a nice premium feel to it. Without having to constantly change dials. Just all the basic functions are still going to have some dials. But some of the other things are just going to be touchscreened right over here. So it's really cool, really easy to operate as well. Of course, we have our heated and ventilated seats on both sides right over here. Really nice and easy. Auto air circulation is right over here. This car actually smells the air and looks for any high levels of pollutants, smoke, allergens, anything like that, just to avoid getting that inside the car. And it takes care of all that for you automatically. Now, it's a hot day, so I have the AC down pretty low right over here. But let's go ahead and go through some other functionality. Now, once again, this being a 7 Series, backup camera is standard, as we can see right over here, with the guidance line. So as I turn the steering wheel, those lines turn with me to help predict if I can make it into a parking space or not. This car does come standard with air suspension, which is very nice as well. We can actually raise this up. Now, the camera's not going to capture this greatly, but I'm going to see how steady I can hold this right over here to manually raise up the suspension in case I have to reverse over. So now I'm going to go ahead and activate that just by pressing that little button. Now let's see if we can capture the car raising up there. You can see the height is actually adjusting right over there. Right now it's raising the rear end, and now it's raising the front end. So really useful for going over big curves or bumps or speed bumps or anything like that, or even if you're heading on the beach and the ground clearance could be a little questionable. This will help you with that situation. And of course, it'll automatically lower itself once you go into sport mode or you start attaining a little higher speeds right over there. But it's really cool that they do give you the manual option to adjust all that. Really sharp, and that's just all done right over here. Now, 7 Series also get a really cool mode. This is the adaptive mode. Now, what this does right over here, now standard BMWs, they do come with Sport, Comfort, and Eco Pro, just as every car does. But this car has a special adaptive mode. Only the 7 Series gets this. When you hit adaptive, essentially the car will learn to the way you drive. So instead of you having to feel like, well, I want to drive a little more sporty today or anything like that, you just hit adaptive and the car learns you. It'll actually adapt itself to the way you drive. So it's really cool, really nice, not having to worry about any of the button pressing or anything like that. Really cool there. Of course, we're going to come over here into the glove box. Even some technology is crazy what you'll find even in here. This little guy right over here is going to be a little sleeve for wireless phone charging. You just slide your phone in and you can start charging your phone, depending of course. Apple functionality currently does not exist, but the new Apple iPhone coming out, the 8X, and I believe what they're referring to it as the Apple 10, will have wireless charging capability, so this will work here pretty darn soon for you guys. Of course, we do have a little USB right over there in case you want to do any music to download it to the car, which this car has a 20 gigabyte hard drive for storing music into. Really useful there. And of course, we have a little AC outlet right over here in case you need to charge your phone. This car is not short of USB chargers. We got another one right over here. We have that AC outlet right in there with that USB. And we have another cigarette lighter that's going to be right in that little cabinet right over there. Right in here, which we'll take a look at in just a little bit. We can see everything. Now let's go ahead and come to the back seat. I'm not going to do on the driver's side because I did scoot my seat all the way back just to make filming a little easier. I'm actually going to come to the passenger side where the seat's in a much more reasonable area. I'm not even able to touch the pedals in the front. When we come back over here to the back seats, and I do have all the screens closed in the back so we can really see how dark it is back here. Now the iPad will adapt to it, but it's easily got to be a 40% difference in light back here. It's really sharp. And we start seeing some of the ambient lighting back here as well, which we couldn't see in the front. You can choose between multiple colors inside the car. Right now it's at a very nice lavender color to it. It can be changed between green, bronze, white, blue, orange. Really sharp. Just really can bring the whole car together. Really cool to know, because you can have his and her lights as well. Because BMW works based on a profile system, so if you're to lock the car with your key, yours can be blue. And if your partner or another person driving the car were to lock the car with their key, theirs can be green. And it's a nice way to distinguish between the two profiles, so really sharp. Now we're mentioning at the front that this car does have a lot of charging points right over here. You do have some more cigarette lighters back here in case you do need to charge your phone in multiple areas. Just tons of accessibility on this car. Really sharp. I love the cross-stitch leather that even comes to the back seats as well. A lot of manufacturers kind of chintzy out in the back seats. but this does not. Absolutely gorgeous. And of course, you do have rear vents in the rear. And this one's going to have the limo style lights in the rear as well. And those are just touch activated. So if I were to press this little guy, now it's not very bright, and it is a little bright out today, but those at nighttime just have a nice little faint glow to them. Just bring a really nice atmosphere throughout the car. Really sharp looking. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, if we come up to the top right over here, you can see it looks like almost like little specks in the moonroof. Now, this is on front and rear as well, and this is called the Panoramic LED Sky Lounge. Now, this is over 12,000 little etchings that they put through this moonroof. And then they shine LED lights from all around, and it almost makes like the car looks like it has like a starry night sky. It's really cool to look at. And we're going to pull the car into service in just a little bit to see if we can get a little glimpse of that as well. Well, let's just take a look around in the back over here. I love coming into the 7 Series because it's just so much space to film. So much easier. Of course, forward zone climate control. We've got the 2 back here, and of course the 2 in the front as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at trunk space. Now, this car, just like most BMWs, does have comfort keyless access entry. So I am able to unlock or lock the doors just right from the door handles right over here, which also gives me the feature that I can come to the trunk and just give a little kick right down over here and pop the trunk with just my foot. I can also lower it in the same way. So I'm looking back over here, and once again, class-leading trunk space, really cavernous. And BMW always likes to make sure, if you're a big golfer, they always like to make sure you can at least fit 1 set of golf clubs going across right over here with driver and everything inside the car, so it's really sharp. And of course, we do have a little push-through area for a ski bag or anything like that, but it's an absolutely cavernous trunk. This one's going to have all the all-season weather floor mats, which even those have like a little cross-stitch styling to it to really match the car. You can see there's absolutely plenty of space. It's really a deep trunk. I'm going to go ahead and close the trunk the same way that I opened it with just my foot right there. We get the little auditory beeps, the tail lights flash, and there goes the trunk. So that's really useful if you have to load in something heavy and pull it right back out. You don't have to worry about putting down the item, opening up the trunk, putting it inside the trunk, closing the lid, and then having to do the same thing when you take it back out. Just really trying to eliminate steps, makes things so much easier for you. One of the last things we are going to look at, of course, is the engine bay. BMW is very well known for its beautiful, silky smooth engines, and this one follows that rule. And here we are. Inline 6-cylinder turbo engine, as mentioned before, 320 horsepower, 332 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds. Nice and smooth. Of course, we do see lots of space over here, lots of crumple zones, bracing, everything like that. This car is absolutely great crash safety rating. Very safe car. Of course, accident collision notification alerts BMW Assist automatically. So, God forbid the car does get into an accident, they will be alerted that the car has been in an impact. And based on the severity of it, it can actually detect how many people were inside the car at the time of the accident, even the weight of the people inside the car at the time of the accident, to let them know if it was a child or an adult or not. Really intelligent system, really sharp, really cool stuff. It also has active head restraints, so God forbid if you get rear-ended inside the car, it can it'll actually try to prevent whiplash. It's really sharp, really cool system. And of course, this being a 7 Series does feature concierge for 1 year, entirely complimentary. So if you don't feel like using the voice commands or the iDrive controller or the touchscreen, you want somebody to get it all taken care of for you, just hit the little SOS button right over here. Let's see if I can show it. There it is. Hit this little guy right over here, tell them what you're needing to do, and they'll get it all taken care of. They can even do things like restaurant reservations, movie times, weather, everything like that, which even the car can pull up weather, which is pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and show that now. Because I popped the trunk. Oh, the hood. Show me the weather.
Current weather at your location.
And there it is. Really cool stuff. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull into the service bay. As I mentioned before, I do want to show that Sky Lounge and see if I can get it to pick up here. Let's go ahead and have a little drive here. We can even see while filming, I don't have a tripod or anything like that in here or any stabilizer. This is an incredibly smooth car, really sharp. Very little vibration through here. And this car is going to be equipped with a Harman Kardon stereo system. So that's a 16 speaker, 600 watt, fully adjustable in the equalizer, treble, bass, fader, balance, everything. It's an incredible stereo system, worthy of a car of this class. Really sharp there. They combine that with that 20 gigabyte hard drive for storing in your music, as we mentioned earlier. Really brings this whole car as all together. Makes this a great car for an audiophile. Really sharp there. But let's go ahead and we're pulling into service right now. But we can see a lot more of that ambient lighting in here too. Now if we come up to the top now, I can just see it. You see that little purple lighting coming along the sides right over there? That's much brighter at nighttime, but it really just gives you a nice little idea of what this car looks like. It's an entirely different atmosphere at nighttime. You can even see like little ticket reader lights right over here that illuminate the gear selector. Even those change according to the ambient lighting. This car is just truly amazing. Now we're gonna go ahead and head back up to the front. Now, if you have any questions regarding this car or any other car in our lot, please feel free to contact us. We'll be happy to get you all taken care of. Other than that, we hope to hear from you soon, and have a great day. Take care.